Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Gospel of Two Wheels. Woody is coming in right now. Here we go. We're going to get him up here. And he's walking around. There he is. Woodrow. We're
Hey,
live.
buddy.
We are live right now as we speak.
You're just running in this morning, huh?
Well, it's because I'm late. So that'll happen. But yeah, welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? It is good to be here with Woody. We're here to talk about dirt bikes, right? And I think that's what we do. Todd Colvin, Steve Becky Peterson, Trailvet 59, Dave Brayman, Cub Moto, Jay Wild, Sawyer Llewellyn, Mike Barnato, Kel Becker. What is up? Woody, how is Texas this time of year? I bet it's kind of nice. Although there were some big torpedoes, as my parents like to call them, recently.
Yeah, dude, it's the weather's been kind of nuts lately, so it's kind of crazy. We were getting a ton of rain here, but then as you said, the tornadoes and stuff like that, there were Oklahoma's been already getting hit and stuff like that. It seems like it's a little bit later this year, just like snow for you guys is kind of like shifted back almost a month. Like it comes later and stays longer. It feels like too, like spring is also like the spring rains in Texas have kind of like, shifted back or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, our spring has been late. It's pretty interesting. We haven't had a lot of wind this year yet. We had a lot of wind this winter, which will lead me into what we're doing tonight, which is cutting trees. But we yeah. But we're not. We haven't had a big spring wind yet. So, Chris Burns, Matt Bailey, Cycle Farm. My mom will not punch you, but you better say hi specifically to my mom if you don't want to get punched. You can say hi to all.
Hello, Suzanne Spalding.
Yeah, that doesn't count. You can't just say hi all. My mom will come find you and punch you in the face. 5280 James, what's happening? The a hard enduro Woody first thing in the morning as usual. I love it.
Good man. He just like rolls over at 8:30 a.m., turns on Gospel of Two Wheels, and is like, "I am ready."
Yes. What's been going on? You've been racing a bunch. How'd the Cajun Classic go?
Oh, dude, I love as I talked about in the race recap I put out. Like that's like going home for me. You know what I mean? Because I grew up riding there, and so once I started going back a lot more in like 2019, I just love going back to that property. But good God, when you don't ride in Southern Louisiana a lot, you just forget how horribly just maniacal the roots are. Like they just want to F you up. And the arm pump, dude, it was so hilarious. And I'm like, the comments are ridiculous. Like, pinch with your knees more. Don't hold on so tight. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I get it. We all understand the concept of arm pump and but when you are just inundated with roots for 6 miles that are just smashing everything about your body and bike, it just happens. And it was hilarious because after the first test, like everybody was just like, so like it was, I mean, no one didn't get arm pump right in that first test. So it's like, I get it. Yes, there are concepts on ways to eliminate arm pump or not get it by pinching the bike and hold it on less with your hands. But this just like mucked everybody up, dude. It was, I loved it. It was 60 miles. It was bitching. It could have been longer. It wasn't. People were tired. I got faster throughout the day. A lot of other people got slower. So it's like I went from like 160th overall in the first test, which I fell in, to 80th overall in the last test,
Nice.
So it's like,
yeah, that's cool. It's funny. I love the internet's comments. I mean, as you know, being on the internet, it's so good. Especially like in a hard enduro, like people like, well, you just gotta weight the back tire and then do. I'm like, yeah, I get the idea, man. Like, I've read all the books, I've watched all the videos, but until you are thrown knee deep into the crap show that is racing of any kind, whatever. You can sit there and practice all you want until the reality comes and smacks you in the face.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we like to call that life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. Speaking of which, I kind of hope that Mike Tyson beats the living crap out of Jake Paul. I don't know. Just quick aside. I hope Mike Tyson smacks that kid so hard
Dude, whatever. They're both making so much money, like
Oh
doing
yeah,
that. You know what I mean? That's why, like Jake Paul can box. Like I would never do that because I can't box. He can't. But like they're both just getting oodles of money. Like why? If you enjoy boxing and you can go do this at a level that means you're not going to die and you
oh
can
yeah,
walk away with a couple mil, like
yeah,
yeah, all
oh
right,
yeah,
let's do it.
absolutely, 100%. But back to
Like I would die if I got in a ring with
oh,
Mike Tyson and he punched me. I mean, I would legitimately die, and
that would
nobody
be
needs
it.
that. I mean, I don't want that.
Yeah, like I could have headgear on, I could have everything on, and if like I took one shot to the face, game over, spraddling out, like we're done. Like, dude, there's
Hey,
no.
I want to ask up that in the comments. Who actually realized that Morgan's last name has an R in it? And then
That's
the second thing is, how long did it take you to actually realize that there was an R in it? And if it's right now, that's okay too. Just make
that's
sure you
all
admit
right.
that.
The uh that's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, quick. I'll just throw that out there. My name is pronounced Spradling, and it's funny if you just read it. It's how it's spelled. But it's amazing how many people botch that.
Oh,
um.
dude, I mean, easily 2-3 years. I thought you were like Spalding.
Oh yeah. I
Like
wish I was. I mean, I don't wish
even
I was
in my
spelling.
phone, like you were like, and I didn't know that your first name was not Morgan, right? Like I had Morgan Spalding in my phone for the longest time. And I think it's like one time I saw it spelled somewhere, or like you saw it spelled somewhere when I was in Colorado 2 years ago, and you were like, that's not how you spell it. And you know what? It was one of those things I was
Yeah.
like, no, sure didn't.
Oh. But yeah, so the reason that because we try to do the Woody and Morgan show once a month if we can. We don't. It's not a for sure deal, but would love to have Brian on because he's my good friend. But what prompted me calling him on this one and seeing if he could be on was the remembrance of the incident with your arm. And it's
Jesus.
funny, people. Someone already commented like, "Is his wrist better already?" Yes, that was a year ago that happened. His wrist is just fine now. And what prompted the whole like putting the bar guard on the chainsaw and all that stuff was a night like tonight. We were going up into the woods. We're going to cut trees. We got the chainsaw mounted up on the beta, and we were ready to do some trail clearing and give back to the community that gives so much to us. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm excited to have the guard on the bar so that hopefully I don't do what I did to Woody to someone else because that was a hell of a thing. If you guys haven't watched the video, please watch the video.
Yeah.
It's a
I think both of
phenomenal.
us have videos from that night, right?
Oh yeah, and yeah, and like someone called me and I forget we were talking to someone I know here and they were asking about it and we were talking about how it was really a comedy of errors that like all these things had to happen for that to go wrong, right? Like it wasn't just the fact that the bar guard wasn't on there. There was also the fact that some idiot was trying to jump a hard enduro style obstacle off camber with a chainsaw on the front of his motorcycle. That's maybe not the
No
best.
one thought that was a bad idea. No one said anything to
No
that.
one, yeah, no one was like, "Oh, well, he should have never jumped over that." It's all like, "I should have a guard on that." I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe I shouldn't have tried to do what I did. And then there was the, I'm gonna stand below in the line of fire of the guy who's trying a hard enduro obstacle with a chainsaw on the front of his bike, right where he might go if things go south. And that,
Yeah.
yeah. So there was a lot of bad decisions, and it was honestly it just turned into a hilarious thing, and quite a few views on YouTube recently, especially, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think you reshared it and so it caught a couple hundred views and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it was talking back to that, like I remember you're like, all right, I'm gonna try it. Okay, cool. Like I was just like, I'm gonna stand here. I actually went up above and I was like, this doesn't show a good angle of like how like steep it is. So then I went down below. And so again, like I was kind of like, I moved here and I moved here, and then the bike started, and I was like, okay, this will work. So I just like, boo, like there was zero thought about like, well, if he doesn't make it, he's probably coming at me in some direction. And then of course, there's no concept of like there's a chainsaw on the front of his motorcycle that would then, slice me open in any shape or form.
Right.
Like,
Much
and
less.
then of course, remember your goggles were, was it my goggles or your goggles? I mean, they were
I
40
dude.
feet down the hill somewhere.
Oh
Like
yeah, and
we were, we
like.
were all, we were spraddling out.
The other thing is, forget the chainsaw. If that chainsaw hadn't been on there and you're still standing there and I'm still trying this thing, there's a 450-pound projectile with lots of sharp metal parts on it coming at you. So it was really a bad decision, like deeply. Like so many things led to it. My wife is a safety manager for the Forest Service, and actually she works on a national level a lot of times, and they do a lot of looking at like risk assessment and things that happen. Sadly, a lot of terrible things happen on the Forest Service, a big organization, and like all the little decisions that if one had been made differently, the outcome would have been completely different. But instead, a guy gets his arm cut or whatever.
Yeah,
So
this is us. Yeah, it's
I'm
like
so
there's so
glad
many.
that it wasn't
Did
worse.
she
Like
did she get to tell her coworkers and about our story and like move our story up the chain of like
I
these
don't.
numbskulls did the thing?
I'm not sure if she ever did. She tries to keep the stupidity of her husband out of her professional life
I
because
don't know. Like it seems like there's so many lessons to be learned with us. Like
yeah, that's the problem. I think she needs to just like, well, I have a person I'll call Jim and just like make up something else so that her coworkers don't know it's me. That would make her like
yeah.
make her feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
Um,
there's it's like your last name. You could just call you Spalding.
that's right. Yeah.
You know,
So this guy
no one will
Thomas
figure that out.
Spalding, we'll just call him that. When is your next race? And how are you doing in the points? Because you're chasing the whole blackjack series, right?
Yeah, and I'm not too concerned with that because I know that there's tons of guys faster than me. You know what I mean? Like, and I haven't like raced in so long, and this is new terrain to me. But having tons of fun. I'm actually working on the Hardwood Hills race recap. I was just uploading it before we got on, and that was super cool. I'd never ridden in Missouri before, and it actually reminded me a lot of some of the riding in Sargents. Some of that stuff, like you're going up Long Branch or Big Bear, not Big Bear, Big Bend, I
Big
believe,
Bend.
where it's just a bunch of like medium to small sized rocks and they're just moving underneath you the whole time. And it's just relentlessly going uphill. Now, granted, it's steeper and miles long in Colorado. So it's not that in Missouri, but it was very reminiscent of that. So it was super cool to like drive 7 hours to Missouri, not 14 to Colorado, and kind of get a little bit of that. When it comes down to the points, I think I'm second in the 48. I think I'm technically winning the A40 class, but that's just because I've done all the races. You know, once you start putting drops in and stuff like that, like Dale Rector is definitely winning because he's got firsts in all of the stuff, but he's blackjack champion and stuff like that. This dude's super fast. Like he's been on a row behind me before, and so he gets on a row with a double A dude and just chases the double A dude the entire time. And so when they catch me, at the end of a longer test, oh my God, dude, watching them go by is so, I mean, they're just like, stuck on each. Oh, it's so fast.
Nice.
So I try to latch onto that for a little bit and just,
Yeah. Yeah.
dude, it's been so fun because I don't know. Even though some of these races are races like we did Red Canyon, which is TSEC, so I've done it before, and then Cross Timbers, which I've done before, but the White Rock and Hardwood Hills, I've never done before, never ridden in Missouri, anything like that. And that has been the coolest part of this. And why I wanted to do blackjack is because I knew 3/4 of the events I'd never raced before. I'd never ridden in the property. I'd never been to them before. I had no expectations. And that in and of itself has just been the coolest thing to just come and like meet new people, make new friends, high five with different peeps, and then just like enjoy cool ass single track that I've never touched before. So it's been a lot of fun and it's doing
Nice.
everything I wanted it to do.
That's awesome. And when's your next race and where is it?
This weekend.
Oh,
Yeah, Liam and I are loading up tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon and heading to Arkansas for the National Enduro, which is part of the Blackjack. So there's 4 nationals in
Whew.
blackjack this year, or 3 or 4. But like there's four races in Missouri. 3 of them are nationals, and I'm gonna have 4 on my schedule because I went to the Cajun Classic, which was the national. So the Black Buffalo this weekend. It's another super cool one. Now I did race this one before. I raced it last year, made a little fun video and stuff like that. And I'm excited because this one was super technical. Lots of rocks, but the rocks, like, again, it's kind of like White Rock and that last Missouri race. They're just a type of rock and terrain that I hadn't really like ridden before. And so it's now that I've gotten a little bit more under my belt going into the Arkansas one this weekend, I feel like I might be a little bit more prepared. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I'm gonna do something stupid and crash, and shit's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
is what it is.
Or you're gonna overall the thing.
I mean, I don't see that in the cards, but okay. Well, yeah, woo!
Yes. Oh, I love it. First of all, quick say hi to some folks. Scott Schweger, Bryce Davis, Zach Farkash, Bo Hunter, which is the Broads. Shout out to the Broads. What's up? And then my favorite comment so far: cut trees, not Woody. Or cut
Agreed.
wood, not Woody. That would be good too. Chop wood, not Woody. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Old timer coming in from Canada. Eric Hall, what's happening? Hope the collarbone's feeling good this morning. Hopefully that thing gets. Countershock says hashtag overall. Yes. So if
so that Dale Rector guy was like Dale Rector's fast, like, and again, past blackjack champion, stuff like that. But I did beat him in the last test at Hardwood Hills. So that's like that, like, okay, like, but it's the last test. I knew that test I rode the best that I could ever remember. You know what I mean? Like every single thing was to that point where you're like, what was it? And I almost can't remember because I was just so in it. There was no thinking. There was just doing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what does it take for me to find that earlier? Right. You know, and that's what everybody's chasing, right? That flow state where we're doing and we're not thinking. And so it's kind of like, okay, cool. Like, but I'm not going to try to force that. You know what I mean? Like because coming into this weekend, I could like try to like be like, okay, I gotta ride like that again. And by doing that, now I'm trying to force something that come naturally. So I'm kind of just being like, okay, like what I've been doing is working. Like not only am I getting faster as the season's gone on, but I'm continuously getting faster as the day goes on, as everybody else starts to taper off and I kind of keep ticking up speed. So I'm kind of going in and I'll be like, all right, like I'm probably going to do the same thing. I'm going to be decently fast in the beginning, but it's just like if I can stay upright and stay smart, I'll probably just continue to tick. I just need to figure out how to get the first part of the day a little bit more speed, a little bit more aggression, to where that time is more comparable. You know, it's seconds, not tens of seconds and 30s of seconds.
Right.
So that in the end, when I am faster, I can hopefully it's like, okay, now I can kind of win out. I don't know. We'll see if I get there. It'll be fun. It's going to be a fun weekend regardless. It's beautiful up there. Like lush green grass and rolling hills that I've never seen in person before. It's that kind of shit you would think you would see in Scotland.
Right.
Like where you're just like, I mean, I was in awe. It's so majestic up there.
Nice.
It's pretty crazy.
That's awesome. We will be going to Supercross in Denver. Super excited about that. Big thanks to Western Power Sports for the tickets. They got us tickets for my whole family and Zach and Leandra, so I'm super psyched about that. My kids have actually never been to a Supercross race, which I'm kind of surprised about. But they're like, yeah, Dad, we've never been. I'm like, huh, I guess you haven't. So I'm excited because
that's crazy.
And it's such a rad season right now. Like I'm loving this season of Supercross because it's a huge shakeup. Jet obviously is the fastest guy on the track, but he's also made a bunch of mistakes and had some struggles. So it's cool to think that like someone else could still win it. And then being in Denver, it's going to be a huge Eli Tomac crowd. Like people are going to be going nuts over Eli. Yeah. So Eli's got probably a pretty good chance of winning this thing just because of the hometown crowd effect, you know, having all those people cheering for him. So yeah, I'm excited. And then 250, quick like shout out to how crazy was it 2 weeks ago that the two leaders of the two different series, East and West, crashed each other out of the race, which is like nutty. Like I don't know. I can't even I can't imagine how angry Mitch Payton must be, shaking in his wheelchair, like wanting to
It
run
was a
over their
good.
head.
He was on the Pulp MX show Monday night, and it was a really good interview. Like, and
Oh,
it
really?
sounded like he was pretty open and honest. That it's just like, man, like shit happens. Like we're racing dirt bikes. You know what I mean? Like, and he admitted that he was like, WTF? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he kind of like felt that collapse of stuff, but he's just
Sure.
like, mother effer, but it's like, okay, but this is also what we do, and this can happen in any turn, and it can happen to any racer and stuff like that. And he's like, it was cool because he continued to talk about like who he's hiring, why he's hiring these guys and stuff like that. And he's not just chasing fads, he's not just chasing names when he's hiring riders. And he's like, these guys did all this stuff, I'd hire them again for next year. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
because the stuff that they're doing, these are the guys that get up and do the hard work after the fact anyway. It's like they don't they just keep going and keep grinding versus, kind of like, I guess he's saying that other people might be a little bit more mental about it and kind of like, oh. So if anybody hasn't listened, I thought it was a really good, I mean, they talked for like an hour too. So it was pretty good.
Oh, I mean, if anyone out there is going to be able to weather that feeling, it's going to be Mitch, right? I mean, Mitch has been doing this forever, right? And he's won a lot of freaking championships. So it's
right.
Like, same with, DeCoster. I'm sure, when someone on the KTM does something stupid, I'm sure Roger has that moment of like, but then also like, well, we still got to win races. So, enough whining about it. But it's just such a bummer because I actually really liked both those kids and really wanted to see them both win.
I'm with you. Like, I think the whole, yeah.
And it wasn't.
Yeah. And
if it would have been different if it had been some aggressive move that took them out, that would have been then Mitch Payton starts throwing wrenches, right? Like if it had been like McAdoo coming in and slamming and knocking them both down, it was just a racing, accident. Like he just jumped in front of him. It just happened, right? Like it just whatever. But yeah, it would have been different if those two idiots. Like I tell my kids all the time, like they're getting fast enough. They don't race each other on the same course anymore because Thomas moved up. And Ewan's still racing novice. But I was like, when you guys race each other and you're on this, if you idiots take each other out being aggressive, I will punch you both in the face. Right in the face. So,
well, I mean, or, as they're getting older and they're wanting to brawl, you like break that up and be like, take it to the racetrack.
Yeah, like
that's where we take this crap out.
Yeah, and race clean and like get around. Don't do anything stupid. But yeah, like that was. I felt bad for the whole pro circuit team because like it has been a while since they've had a like big long winning streak and it's whatever. It just sucks for them. But let's see what else was I gonna say. A quick couple people. If you're Hagar and Gela, move to South Africa, lush green hills. Yeah, I'm not moving to South Africa. I'm sure
Colorado's pretty bitchin', so
I'm sure it's pretty lovely, but I like the United States of America. I'm sure it's awesome. Someday I'd like to visit South Africa. That'd be awesome. It'd be 24-hour Gutbuster this year. Trying to think about doing an Ironman. When is it, Big Chuck? Do you know when that is, Woody? The Gutbuster?
I don't. I know it's here, and it's either here in Texas or around in Texas. Mark Weeks started it, but I think sold it off a couple bits ago. So I do know it's coming up, but yeah, I don't remember where they're moving it to because it's been at a couple different properties and stuff as it's kind of like grown past what Mark Weeks had started.
Right. And then Liz asked, what fuel do you put in your body before a race, Woody? I know that Woody has a whole like almost like series of videos and stuff on this. But give us the quick rundown. Morning, wake up, race morning. What do you eat and drink?
Oh, was it around fueling like for the body?
Yeah, for the body.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll try to be quick. So the biggest thing is that race day starts about 2 to 3 days before race day, right? So we want to make sure that we're hydrating up into race weekend. So 2 to 3 days before that, We want to make sure that we're upping our electrolyte intake. And if you want to take supplements for that, feel free. If you don't, you can do that with veggies and with fruit. Again, just eating a little bit more than you normally would as well. We're trying to build up our glycogen stores in our muscles. What does that mean? We want to eat a little bit more carbohydrates. So that concept of carbo loading, that's not just the night before in a big old plate of spaghetti. That's 2 to 3 days before. You're not needing to add a ton of extra here, but you want to do that. This is all the stuff that I do as I lead up to. I've got my electrolytes right here. I've got my carbohydrate drink right here. Like, I am literally doing this as we talk about it leading up into race weekend. Race the dinner before, again, you want to make sure that you do type off glycogen stores by having some more carbohydrates, but complex is good. We move to race day, you want to go simple carbohydrates because you want to be able to break them down quickly, almost so that they could just kind of flow into your bloodstream, opposed to need to be digested in your intestines, in your stomach, and all those kinds of things. The biggest thing, a way to think about it, is you're looking, if you want to use easy math, 1 GU an hour. So if you're racing an enduro, it's easy to do that. And the reason is because those typical GUs are about 20 grams of carbohydrates, and they're going to be about 100 calories. That should do it as you're getting into this, as you're trying to prep for what might work for you. But the thing is people are really starting to push that now. People are starting to build like 2,800 calorie drinks that have like 80 grams of carbs in them. Don't do that right off the bat. You're going to just totally crap your stomach up. But as you slowly get into that and you're starting to realize, like, my body can no more carbohydrates, like, I keep carbohydrates in, I use UCAN. I keep that in my bladder. So I've got about 40 grams of carbohydrates in 3 liter with 3 elements. So about 3,000 milligrams of sodium in there, potassium and magnesium that I'm slowly sipping on. Then I also use the UCAN energy gels on top of that. So I'm getting anywhere between 30 to 40 grams of carbohydrates per hour while racing an enduro. I also like to supplement in, I'm using amino acids now with electrolytes, because amino acids is just broke down protein. So I was always using 5 to 10 grams of whey protein, but as that gets into your body, it just gets broken down to amino acids. That's also been helping my muscles stay stronger throughout the day, because as the glucose stores break down, your body's not going to your muscles, trying to break down your muscles to then turn that into glycogen to be able to use for the energy of your cells. I know that was a lot. There is literally like a cheat sheet on the Seat Time website. If you just Google Enduro Nutrition Cheat Sheet, it'll bring that up. Read through that. It goes way more detail into the stuff that I just talked about. And I know that was a lot. I don't know how to, I don't have a 30-second elevator pitch yet. So I'm still working on it.
Yeah, fair enough. No, that's good, man. And I would recommend all y'all who are watching this or interested in that to go to Seat Time YouTube channel, check that out, subscribe. Also go to seattime.co, right? Is the website, and check out, because he's got all this information in an easier way to digest slower, right? Instead of trying to do it all right here. So yeah, and then Cycle Farm, I want to try the cayenne pepper thing. The thing is, like, every time I race, I will have eaten something crazy hot and spicy right beforehand, and maybe the capsule would be better. But I eat heavy amounts of jalapenos and really, really hot sauce on everything I eat, pretty much, and especially in the mornings before races. So, Justin Callahan, quick tech question. He's like, basically say he's happy with the single spring conversion kit with TBT tuning on a 23 XCF 450. How much better are the spheres? Night and day better than that setup, and that setup is good. And
tell me what a sphere is.
This Dalsaggio spheres are inserts that drop into your fork. That it's the inner cartridge for your fork, right? So
okay, got it.
It's the damping rod and all that stuff. It's what I have on both my bikes. In fact, so I don't know if everybody knows this, but they gave me the first set for my KTM. They, here you go. Here's a set of spheres. Put these in, test them, let us know what you think, make some videos. Okay, great. I did. I loved them. They're amazing. When I got the beta and I tuned the KYB inserts that come in it, I was super happy with that tuning, and it was really good. But I just felt like the spheres could be better. Because I just think that the parts, the components, everything about the spheres is better. It's just higher quality, and so I actually bought those the second set of spheres. I paid for those spheres myself and put them in, and I do think that they're better. I think that they're absolutely better, 100% than the KYBs. Are the KYBs excellent? Yes. When they're tuned right, they're world class. The spheres stock are not as good as that, but if you take the spheres and then you valve them, if you know what you're doing, which TBT does, and valve them, then you get them to a level above the KYBs. And it's like I said, the machining is better, the coatings are better. It's just they're just a better part, and it's incredible. So, and guys are starting to realize that I've been criticized over that, saying that because everybody wants to believe that KYB is like the end all be all. The just the normal, because KYB makes an A kit stuff with full on badass coatings and all that stuff too. But that's not what comes in a bike. Like, it's not what comes in a Yamaha. It's not what comes in a Beta. It's They don't do that because that costs a lot more money. Yeah. Anyway, spheres are high, in my opinion, completely worth it. Other quick, super. It's not secret, but breaking news. There is a Sphere 3.0 coming out very, very soon, and I believe I'm going to get the first set in the U.S.
Whoa.
I'm really excited about the Intech guys. Our good friends. They're really happy with all the content that I provided on the spheres. They're happy that I'm promoting them. There's no money exchanged on that. Like, I don't get a cut of every sphere sold or any of that crap. Like, I, I just like them, and so I believe in them. And I talked to James Richards at Intech yesterday, and he said he's going to do his best to get me the first set, which is going to be sweet. I'm really
Bitchin'.
excited about that.
Yeah.
Pickle juice for arm pump. It looks like November 9th and 10th is a 24-hour gut buster. And our South African friend who used to battle with cramps, etc., being diabetic, I had to be careful. We have a product in South Africa called Slow Mag. Works brilliant. So it must be
Yeah.
magnesium.
Slow Mag's a
Um,
great magnesium. So there's a lot of different types of magnesium that are out there, and Slow Mag is just one that's been developed. It's trademarked and stuff like that. And it's just a magnesium that you actually work through slower, right?
got
And that's what I love about UCAN. The supplement that I use is it's actually something. It's a liquid carbohydrate, but the way that they've processed it through heat. I mean, it's maltodextrin. It's corn, but they have their own trademark process that they put through it that doesn't spike your insulin because of the high blood glucose levels going up. So it doesn't spike your insulin from your pancreas to then have everything that goes on. So that's why I use UCAN, because of the fact that I don't get a big crash after all of that glucose goes out of my blood because of insulin doing its job. So that's why I use that. So I think the biggest thing when it comes to any of this stuff, don't try it on race weekend. Practice
right.
anything, like trying new parts on your motorcycle, anything when it comes to nutrition. Do that crap on weekends when you're riding for fun, because one, you don't want to try a new product and diarrhea yourself all over the place during a race weekend. And also you don't want to screw up a race weekend by maybe putting something in your bike or on your bike that you're like never tried before.
Yeah, for sure. David Hostetler, should you use anti-seize with titanium axle adjuster bolts? So he's asking that question because normally it's a steel adjuster bolt in aluminum, and steel and aluminum have a tendency to corrode or weld together because of the different metals. Titanium is less reactive, but I honestly don't know if it's enough less reactive. But my answer would be yes. Put anti-seize on it, because you can't ever go wrong with having a little bit of anti-seize on there. So I would just do it for sure. Um, Zach Farkash, thank you very much. My honesty has gotten you where you are. Yeah, I try to be brutally honest. Like, there's no parts on my bike that I don't actually believe in. And I haven't gone deep into my diet and exercise program too much, partially just because of timing and things like that. But it's working really, really well. I'm working with Don Funk here. He's a movement medicine coach is his name. website. He's a chiropractor. He's a personal trainer. He's been an elite athlete in the past, and he is kicking my ass into shape, and it's working really, really well. And my results are showing. Like, honestly, finishing 8th at that hard enduro, even though, like, yeah, I only did one lap and it wasn't like spectacular. But out of 24 dudes in the 40B class, I'm really happy with that finish. And also happy with the fact that I could walk around afterwards and didn't like seize up on the way home. And then to move up to 3rd from 4th at the Weeby race, it just feels like I feel better. I'm losing weight. I'm down. The other morning, I was lighter than I have been in over a year, in a really good way, like not a soft way. I'm getting stronger. So yeah, it's been going really good, and I will share more of that as I progress and keep going. But I've been working really, really hard at eating well and putting some effort in at the gym, and it's been like a noticeable improvement in my health, which has been awesome.
That's
So
awesome. I
yeah,
saw Liz's comment. It's hard to stay motivated to work out by yourself. I don't disagree with that comment. I work out at the house by myself, and it's unfortunately not about motivation, because motivation is fleeting, right? There's going to be times you're going to be motivated because maybe you just got done with a race and you're like, you didn't have the result you wanted, so now you're motivated by that poor result to go work out for the next 2 weeks. Well, then all of a sudden life gets harder, your kids do this, work starts to cramp down on you, and you forget about that poor result. And so now 2 weeks later, you're not motivated anymore for the working out that you need to go do. And so the thing that you need to find is something that you enjoy to do consistently, right? Again, if you do it 2 to 3 times a month, that's not going to create long-term results that you're going to either be able to have a longer, healthier life, or maybe be perform on the dirt bike if that's the real end goal here. What you want to find is something that you can do 3 to 4 times a week that you can do consistently. And if that's 30 minutes a day, phenomenal. I promise you, even with that, you're doing more than most Americans out there that are just sitting on the couch. So find something that you enjoy. I'm a huge proponent of CrossFit. That is because of the fact that it is a 1 hour program that you go to, and you get to be around like-minded people, and you get to be there and you get to do it together. You go, you warm up, you do the workout, you cool down, you high five your buddies, and then you go home, or you start your day, or you finish your day. Like, find something that's discipline for you, not about motivation, because motivation is going to be fleeting in the long run.
for sure. And I've found, like, for me, I mean, because I used to ride bicycles. I mean, whatever. I spent a lot of time on bicycles and working out and stuff like that. Honestly, I would argue too much time away from my family and being not present. Actually, it was funny. It was when I was drinking a lot. I would
I
actually
was
go.
about to say, I was like, I think that when we were alcoholics, it
Yeah,
was
and when
probably
I
what we're
would
both
ride
talking
my
about here.
bicycle to drink, I would put a flask of whiskey that had a special holder underneath the seat of my bike that this King Cage guy makes. And I'd put a flask of whiskey, and I would go for a 3-hour mountain bike ride, drink the whole thing, and come home. Dude, it was nuts, right? Like such bad, such horrible like life decisions. But I was pretty fit, even though I was drinking a ton. And I really fell off when I quit drinking. I got a lot of healthier in a lot of ways, mentally mainly. But then I just the last few years I've been riding a ton, having a ton with the channel, trying to make content, all that stuff, but just haven't been healthy. And I finally I just decided one day, and I don't know what that is. I don't know where that decision came from. I don't know how I've been able to make it stick. I wish I had like a perfect answer for the people who are also struggling for with that. But I basically just decided that I'm gonna get in better shape and I'm gonna do better. And the results on the bike are fun for me. It's a fun like measure, like a meter to look and see how I'm doing, like a real actual indicator. But I just made the decision. And then what's helped too, a huge help, is Don, my trainer. Don reached out. We did the enduro training class, the 8-week class for our
Yeah,
team.
I remember that.
Yeah, our team got to do that, and then other people were invited, and lots of people showed up. It was really great, and we that got into it. And then Don's like, Morgan, I'll train you for free if you want, because I want to see how well you can do. I'm like, okay. So having a guy that's training you makes a huge difference, because he, like, I get emails every day like, here's your workout for the day, here's your workout for the day, like, and I can't skip it because he's gonna he's gonna check in at the end of the day and see how it went, you know. And then
Yep.
yesterday was intervals, you know, high intensity intervals, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, God, I do not want to go do this because it sucks, right? Like, it's so hard, and you're on a stupid fan bike, which I don't like, you know, because it's boring, like sitting in one place. Yeah, and so I,
The
you know,
devil's machine.
it is the devil's machine. It's Satan's spawn. But here's the beauty. I get there, Don is sitting there, he's like, all right, let's go. And he jumps on the fan bike with me and does the workout. Like, and Don's in his 60s, and he's just like, let's go. And he just hammered. And it's huge having that. And now that it has become a habit, it's way easier, right? Like, once you ingrain it into your daily life, it becomes easier. And then the other thing is, someone mentioned you had to pray about that. I did absolutely 100% praying about that. Like, I need help with my motivation. I'm with you on that whole word, motivation. Um, the you know, and just trying to, like, stay focused on what, you know, God gave me as a body. He gave me this body, and, like, should I waste it and be lazy and eat junk and not do anything with it, or should I do something awesome with it? And so, and that's a conversation I have almost every morning when I get up. It's like, you're going to waste this beautiful piece of machinery that you've been given, or are you going to, you know, just like get up and actually do something? And Jared, my motivation came because I can't see my wiener standing. Fortunately, I've never been there. Thank goodness. um, the let's see, 7 times and it becomes a habit, good or bad. Richard Manning. I've heard that before. I disagree, because I think it's way longer than that for a habit to form. Sometimes it's shorter, but I think, like, for something that's hard that you don't really want to do, I think it's way more than that to make it a habit that you can't get rid of.
What
What
was
do you
the
think
what was
about
that
that?
comment? I missed that one.
It's at the bottom. It says 17 times and it becomes a habit, good or bad. Um, and I've
Yeah.
heard
Well,
21.
it depends. If you want to dig into habits, read the book Atomic Habits. It truly is a book that changed my life. Came out in 2018. I read it in 2019. I've read it 3 times since then. But the biggest thing about habits is process, right? Same thing with motivation. Motivation is fleeting, right? And so within that concept, if we're trying to create a new habit, we have to look at all the things around us that shaped that habit. What was the need for that habit to be created? Why do we need this habit? Okay, well, now that we understand why we need this habit, what we can do is we can start to change the things around us, whether that's a process, whether that's our environment, whether that's family, whether that's friends, right? That's work, those kinds of things that are needing this habit to be there for us in our life. And then with that, then we can start to change the environment, change the processes, and that way we can bring in new habits. And then that's what it can, and then getting a new habit to stick is then the other side of that. So there's a lot going on there, but I promise you, if you're anything about habits, read the book Atomic Habits, take notes. It's a phenomenal piece of work by James Clear.
Yeah, that is a very good book. I've read it, and yeah, I agree. It's deeper than just the repetition. I had hoped that some things would be just a repetition, and it just doesn't. It doesn't work. It's that, like you said, it's that deeper. What are we fulfilling our lives with that habit, good or bad, right? Like, you know, what are we doing and why? You know, trying to figure that out. But, well, guys,
Yeah.
it's 8:13. I know, Woodrow, you probably have some work to do. I know I have lots of work to do. You guys
Yeah.
can't see it, but there's a lot of motorcycles over here. Yeah, a lot. So Punk Rock Club, you guys are my favorite. Absolute favorite people in the world. I love you people more than I love other people. So there's that. If you're not part of that, then I guess I don't love you as much. I still love you, but just less. Yeah, please. Please, guys, go check out Seat Time on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Seat Time. Seattime.co. Everything that Woody does is awesome. Literally everything he does is excellent.
Even going to the ER with Morgan. We had fun.
We
I didn't like being there with you, but we still made the best time of
yeah,
it.
we did have a good time, and I look forward to another time we can get together minus the ER. That would be great.
Minus the ER. Well, guys, enjoy getting seat time and stay stoked on dirt bikes for me. I appreciate the time, Morgan, as always. And this is some of the stuff that I love to talk about. So if this resonated with anybody, please feel free to message or DM me if you want to go deeper on some of the things we talked about. Because this is since 2018, this is where I've been putting a lot of my mental fortitude on how to like shape this beyond later for me in life. So I just want to put that out there to see if I can continue to help others by helping myself, not in a selfish way. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
We know what you mean. And good luck this weekend, haul ass. I
Thanks.
want at least one overall test.
Oh shit, man! What the hell?
If not, just stay there. Don't come home.
Yeah,
Keep training.
it's beautiful. I'll say it's fine. Later, guys.
Right on. Peace out.
Bye.